They just cannot accept the profound paradigm shift. People struggle with new protocols. You have 5,000 years of recorded history during which humanity has functioned with defective money. How is it distinguished from every other crypto? It's not more complicated, it's simpler. Even in the gold standard, they had hyperinflation. You basically inject the most elegant protocol into nature, subject to the laws of physics and the laws of nature, and then life manifests, and it's beautiful. Sequester 1 billion people and inject them with your idea. It doesn't make things better. Nobody over the age of 40 will ever believe me. I'm just gonna have to wait for them all to die.
In a fascinating interview with Natalie Brunell, Michael Saylor shares his thoughts on why human beings often resist adopting new protocols, even when new protocols offer significant advantages. This resistance may be due to the embedded nature of existing systems, societal norms, and the inertia of familiarity. Saylor states that throughout history, economics and politics have been shaped by flawed monetary systems, making it challenging for individuals to conceptualize the benefits of a sound money system until they experience it firsthand. He uses more of his insightful analogies to help highlight the challenges and dynamics involved in the adoption of new systems and protocols, whether in mathematics, science, or economics. If you're enjoying the content, consider hitting that subscribe button and giving the video a thumbs up. Turning on notifications means you'll never miss out on the most insightful Bitcoin interviews on YouTube. Now let's get started.
Western civilization used Roman numerals for a long, long time because of the Roman Empire. If you've ever tried to use Roman numerals to subtract and add and divide and do math or program a computer, I don't know anybody that actually programs a computer with Roman numerals today. It's very, very challenging, but it was pretty sticky for a couple thousand years. And then at some point, Arabic numerals came along and someone said, you know, we use these numbers like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and it's just a lot more efficient. And here's a new notation. Why does it take people so long? Well, because the old protocol is embedded in everything. It's embedded in the accounting, it's embedded in the law, it's embedded in, everybody spent 30 years of their life learning it. People struggle with new protocols. And so if I come up with a new protocol, which is an order of magnitude better or 2 orders of magnitude better, right? You have to migrate the institutions, the governments, the individuals, and oftentimes you have to have a generational shift. Bitcoin represents a new economic protocol, a new monetary protocol. So you have 5,000 years of recorded history during which humanity has functioned with defective money. And every book on economics, by whether it was an Austrian economist or whether it was a fiat economist or any kind of economist or political economist or the like, every single book was written in a world where the money was mathematically defective. And it's impossible for you to appreciate the theoretical sound money or proper money until you've seen an example of one, right? You have to see one clean money. The Austrians, the only model they had was gold, but you couldn't make the argument in favor of perfected money using gold as an example because gold actually created hyperinflation in Spain in the 16th century. So someone could say, well, look, even in the gold standard, they had hyperinflation. So I guess gold's not perfect, so then my paper money is okay. So I think after 5,000 years of the billions of people all writing about politics and economics based upon defective money, it's not surprising that it takes more than 15 years from the first theoretical establishment of proper money before people start to absorb the idea of clean, sound money. There's not a single PhD economist that actually went to school in the era of perfected money. I use the example of Dr. Harvey, and he discovered that the heart pumps blood out through the arteries back through the veins, and that it circulates through the body. He discovered that after thousands of years of belief that the blood did not circulate. And when he presented it to the world of medicine, he was castigated and rejected by every learned medical professional. And he famously said, nobody over the age of 40 will ever Believe me. No doctor over the age of 40 will ever accept this. I'm just going to have to wait for them all to die. Planck said something similar, which he said, new scientific breakthroughs are never embraced by the establishment. You just have to wait for the next generation of scientists. They just cannot accept the profound paradigm shift. It's not easy to turn your entire worldview upside down, inside out, even if it gives you a 10 or 100x advantage over the traditional view.
The analogy Saylor draws between the adoption of Arabic numerals over Roman numerals and the adoption of Bitcoin as a new economic protocol provides great clarity. Just as Arabic numbers are more efficient for mathematical operations compared to Roman numerals, Bitcoin offers advantages over traditional monetary systems, such as decentralization, security, and efficiency in transactions. However, throughout history, humanity has operated with imperfect monetary systems, leading to economic inefficiencies and distortions. As a result, significant changes in protocols often require a generational shift in thinking and acceptance. Bitcoin represents a paradigm shift towards a more sound and efficient monetary system. Younger generations may be more open to adopting new technologies and paradigms compared to older generations. Saylor goes on to state that Harvey and Planck suggested that older generations must pass before widespread acceptance can occur. This phenomenon is seen in various fields, including economics, science, and technology. In the next part of this interview, Saylor draws parallels between Bitcoin, nature, and governance, highlighting the principles of decentralization, elegance, and natural selection.
Your DNA in nature transmits all that's necessary for the future of the species. And so from a small strand of DNA, millions and millions of creatures can form. Whether it's birds, they kind of come out knowing how to fly, or a spider knows how to spin a web, or a fish knows how to swim. You look at them and you're like, well, how do they figure that out? And it starts with a strand of DNA. You basically inject the most elegant protocol, an elegant piece of code into nature, subject to the laws of physics and the laws of nature, and then life manifests. And it's beautiful, right? Whether it's a tree or a bird or your dog, right? With regard to Bitcoin, you have the most elegant piece of code, a very elegant protocol with not that many lines of code. It's like a virus or like a strand of DNA. It's genetic code for a system, a trust network, a money network, an energy network. It gets released and it spreads to 10 people, 100 people, 1,000 people, 1 million people, 10 million people, 100 million people, and it metastasizes and it moves through corporations and governments and nonprofits and the like. How is it distinguished from every other crypto? It's not more complicated, it's simpler. Right? Everybody else looks and says, I have to make it more complicated, and they break it. Why is Bitcoin great? Because it is elegantly profound and decentralized. When you start trying to sequester 1 billion people and inject them with your idea, it doesn't make things better. So centralized planning and centralized tinkering actually undermines the ecosystem. It doesn't help it. So nature is decentralized and elegant, and Bitcoin is decentralized and elegant. And so now we get to the question of government. What's the best government? The least government, decentralized and elegant. Some simple, elegant rules, right? That are decentralized and pushed down to the most local element. A country that has 50 states that all act independently is much more robust, anti-fragile, perhaps just. Offers more dignity and more freedom to its citizens than a country with no states and just a single central government. A country that has separated branches of government, has checks and balances with a strong judiciary, a strong executive branch, but also a strong legislative branch. A system of checks and balances offers more freedom and is more functional. The more centralized the government and the more power that can be acted upon by fiat by an individual or by a small group, right, the more fragile the government is. No well-meaning genius graduates from college with a PhD and decides to change the speed of light, or the speed of sound, or the gravitational constant. If that was changed, every mechanism on Earth would stop working and every building would collapse and everybody would die. That's why the universe works. And when you have a new idea, I think that I'm going to live by myself on an island spearfishing. If that works and you're able to procreate and prosper, maybe there'll be millions of people like you on that island. But if it turns out you forgot to bring someone to procreate with, or if it turns out you run out of stuff to spearfish with, or you can't catch the fish, you're going to die, and that entire idea gets pruned out of the genetic tree of life. And I think the same is true with Bitcoin. Someone comes up with a better idea for Bitcoin and we just ignore them. You fork off a Bitcoin and you know what happened with the Bitcoin forks, and they all go to zero. And that's basically natural selection, the laws of nature, and the market economy working. With government, when the governments have some natural selection, like some state comes up with a rule, you're not allowed to wear orange and you can't work on Tuesday and Thursday, everybody gets to leave that state, move to the other state where you can wear orange and work on Tuesday and Thursday. And then people in the first state kind of realize that maybe that wasn't very rational. And so maybe there's a hope for you. But when the person at the top of the government gets to dictate no working on Tuesday and Thursday and no orange, pretty soon it becomes nobody with blue eyes can vote. And then pretty soon it's nobody with blue eyes is allowed to be free. And you just plunge into a dark abyss at that point. It's too much power and too little natural law and market economics.
In the mind of Michael Saylor, Bitcoin is an elegant piece of code, akin to the DNA in nature, with simple yet profound rules. Its decentralized nature allows it to spread and thrive without the need for central control. Nature operates in a decentralized and elegant manner, with simple rules governing its complex systems. Similarly, Bitcoin's decentralized architecture is key to its resilience and effectiveness. Saylor describes decentralized systems as being more robust, anti-fragile, and conducive to freedom and dignity. Just as nature and the market economy operate through natural selection, Saylor suggests that governance systems should also undergo natural selection. People should have the freedom to choose and migrate to systems that better align with their values and needs, fostering rationality and adaptation. Without the constraints of natural law and market economics, Saylor warns that centralized governance can descend into tyranny. Finally, he underscores the virtues of simplicity, decentralization, and adherence to natural laws in both technological innovations like Bitcoin and in governance systems. Embracing these principles can lead to more resilient, efficient, and just systems. It's time to wrap up today's video. If you'd like to watch this compelling interview in its entirety, follow the link in today's video description. We hope you enjoyed today's video, and we'll see you in the next one.